Let's start with foot locks and their defenses. I'm going to spend a little time now on foot locks, their defenses, and also heel hook defenses, okay? Because there are a lot of people in Jiu-Jitsu who are struggling with this. The Japanese open the guard, I keep my posture, and I set up the foot lock. Let's start with the foot lock, okay? People call it Botinha. A good way for me to get into this position is when I open my partner's guard, either when I open it actively, or when he reacts. I'm here with him. He opens his guard by himself. Look. I know he's going to shrimp out, right? The guy is hardly ever going to open his guard and just stay here like an idiot. He's always going to shrimp out. That gives me the option, depending on which foot lock I like to go for more, okay? I can always go for the foot lock by falling to either side. I just don't want to fall back. If I fall back, I'm inviting the guy to stand up. What are the differences, okay? No matter which way you go for it, what won't change is the grip you're going to use. The grip you're going to use is always this one here, like a guillotine grip. But I press my finger down here to raise this muscle up, okay? Another thing that won't change is keeping the blade of your forearm at the level of his Achilles tendon, all right? Can't be up here, must be down here. Can I grab it over the top? If you already have more experience, you can hook it over the top if you know how to keep it loose. And then when you drop, you're going to do this. Look, it'll slide into the right spot. What's the big difference between falling this way or that way? It's the position of my feet, okay? And the position of my leverage arm. So I have one arm that's going to hook, and that's the arm I'll use as leverage to finish it. The one that's going to pull, okay? The position of this arm changes completely. Let me give you an example. Don't worry about the foot just yet, okay? When I fall outward, this arm of mine stays in line with the other one, the forearms. A very important detail for everyone. When I grab the foot lock, I usually say that I want you to imagine that you have to finish your opponent with just one hand, as if you only have one arm. Why? You have to commit to this grip. When I fall, a common mistake people make is relaxing this arm. Then the arm drops down here, see? You can't pull it back anymore. Even with a glove on, you can't bring it back anymore. So once I go for the clamp and fall, I keep my arm tight and my hand high. I drop down on his foot. I'm going to carefully make my grip. First finger on the wrist, just like a guillotine grip. I never bend my wrists ever. If I bend my wrist, I lose strength. I line up both forearms on the same line, okay? I contract here by bringing my elbow to my ribs and rotating my shoulder back, and then I'll get the submission, all right? So what's the difference on the other side? If I happen to fall to the other side, I have to open up this elbow, okay? That's the difference. When I fall on top of the foot, both my forearms stay in the same line. When I fall with his foot up in the air, I can't lock my own arm here. If I do, I completely lose the ability to attack his foot, okay? So here, I really have to put my ribs on the ground. I open my arm out, put my ribs on the ground. Here, I have plenty of leverage to pull. And now we're going to look at foot positioning. Falling to the outside, on top of his foot. I can place this foot braced here, or I can even put it underneath. That's fine. I can squeeze his leg between mine here and compensate with that pressure. This is good. I can get it here. Falling with his foot up. Can I leave it here? I can too, but you have to know there's a risk he might pull it toward himself, see? You can get caught in a foot lock, or worse, a dangerous heel hook. So when you find yourself falling like this, I'd rather you hip escape and lace their leg, okay? You're going to do this at the moment you hook, which I'll show now. Here's how it really is. I open the guard, the guy shifts his hips, and when I go to grab his foot upwards, I already hook it there, throwing my foot inside, see? And then it's the same, knee to knee, and here I'm going to catch it. Detail. Rotate your shoulder blade back. There's no foot lock with your shoulder forward, okay? A foot lock with your shoulder forward is weak. I rotate back here, see? When I do this, I just take the pressure off here and shift it over there. It's much better for breaking his foot. So I'm here, I rotate, and here I catch it, see, from behind, okay? Hips forward, I keep turning. If he escapes to the other side and I want to attack this side here, we always have one side that's easier for us to attack. Here, I can brace over there. Just bring this knee up. Hook the foot over there. No problem. Look, here I already keep it straight. Both forearms aligned. And then it's the same thing. I brace, look back, see. I finished him. Important, guys, as we continue discussing. Still talking about the attack, okay? There's a big difference between the setup and positioning for attacking the foot lock and for attacking the heel hook. What's the big difference? Or the foot lock, I need to hook it before I drop down. The heel hook, I can be here. I can be punching. Or in Luta Livre, I can be working here. I can hook with my legs here and then go for the heel, no problem. But once I lock with my legs here, I can't get my hand in afterward. It's impossible, okay? So if you're going for the straight ankle lock, first you hook the foot, then you drop down. Now, talking about which one is better. The heel hook is much more effective than a straight ankle lock. In tournaments, if you get caught in a straight ankle lock, it's not a big deal. It won't cause problems. Your foot will be loose for a while, and even during the match, you can keep fighting, but then it recovers. Heel hook, on the other hand, means surgery. There's nothing you can do. So you might think, well, then it's better to just go for the heel hook right away. But what's the difference? It's easier to escape a heel hook, spin out. It's much more effective, but it's also easier for the person to escape. The foot lock is much harder for someone to get out of. So what did I personally always like to do, and what always worked really well? Attack the foot lock first, then switch to the heel hook, because once you force it, after locking in the ankle lock, this is the moment right here. I lock it in, boom, I drop down. The fight is going to be right here. Here, the guy will struggle like crazy to get out. He'll kick, he'll spin, all that. I need to be secure here. While he's trying to escape, he won't be able to pull his leg out because I've got his foot locked in. So I'm going to start working with my feet to get myself into a more comfortable position here. There you go. Once I've locked him in here and gotten myself into a more comfortable position, it could be this hook I like to use. It could be here. It could be, I don't know, right? Setting it up here. But I've made my lock so it's hard for him to get out. Then with the other hand, which is the lever hand, I block right in front of his shin, and then I switch to the heel hook variation. But my opponent is already controlled. The problem with going straight for the heel hook is that you allow him to make that first move to spin out, to follow your rotation. It's very common in MMA for people to lose the position because of Vaseline and gloves, which make it harder. And in submission or Luta Livre, it's common for someone who goes straight for the heel hook to end up in that situation where both guys keep spinning and spinning until they roll off the mat. I don't know what the rule is nowadays, but back in my day, if it wasn't intentional, you'd restart standing up. In other words, you'd lose your attack. So it was safer to lock in the foot lock so the guy couldn't spin out. The right way to defend a foot lock isn't just spinning around. If you do that, you'll mess yourself up. That's when the foot lock gets dangerous. If someone catches you in a foot lock, you can let it pop, not a big deal. But if you start spinning around like crazy, that's when it gets dangerous. Because with a straight foot lock, I'm locking down his shin. If he tries to spin out, he'll be twisting from the knee up and end up hurting his knee. So with the foot lock, to keep it from being so brutal, you actually need to stay calm when you defend it. That's what we're going to do now. Attack this. Let go. Be careful with my knee. All right, let's go. Laquinho's got the foot lock there. First thing, this is harder to get out of because here he's got his feet locked in, okay? The first thing I need to do is get him flat on his back, for obvious reasons. When he's on his side, remember what I said, man, don't put your back on the ground. Whenever you're going to attack, fall to the side. Because if he puts his back on the ground, when he drops down to lock it in, he creates movement that makes it easy for me to get up. And the other reason is that Leco, the way he is, he's doing it wrong because he doesn't have his ribs on the ground. Now, that's right. Thank you. Leco, the way he is here, imagine if he had the maximum flexibility a human can have, like he's, say, a contortionist. He could put the back of his neck on his butt here. He'd be able to arch all of this. So, basically, there's no limit to how much he could stretch my foot here. If I can get him flat on his back on the ground, that already limits him. Sometimes, depending on my flexibility, just that is enough to defend. He can't do it because he can't go through the ground, man, his back is blocked. So we're in a situation between him being able to arch all the way and a situation where the ground limits him. So in this case here, how am I going to stay strong there? Man, how am I going to put his back on the ground? No other way. It's right here, look. Top hand, bottom knee, see? His foot is hooked inside. That's fine. It's the same thing. Look, in this case, man, be very careful. Foot lock. Don't try to twist your torso. I'm going to do a foot weave here if his foot is really hooked in. But I'm not going to spin. My foot weave is right here. Look, see? See how my hips aren't turning? Look, it's right here at first, okay? So if he's really hooked in, if I can get it right away, boom, great. Couldn't do it. When I try to turn, he keeps his hook tight here with his foot. See? I can't get it. I push and start to pummel with my legs. Now, yes, back on the mat. Is there time to do it? There is time to do it. With a straight foot lock, you have time. Will it hurt? Yes. But it's not a lock that snaps all of a sudden. You feel it. It keeps stretching, 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 bam. Then you stop feeling pain and your foot goes limp like jelly, but you can keep going. It's happened to me, and I kept going. Does it get a little worse afterward? Yeah, it gets a little worse, but nothing serious, okay? With the knee, that's not the case. If you feel that pop in your knee, you can go ahead and schedule surgery. There's nothing else you can do. Heel hook is a dangerous submission. If your knee pops, it's over. So first thing, put him on his back on the ground, okay? And here, depending on how I manage it, his foot might be inside or not. It really doesn't matter. I always like, especially when it's this one that's a bit trickier to do. I always like to do this foot fencing. Later on, it makes things easier because it opens up the possibility to counterattack him. Here, if I turn, let's go, turn over there. I put him on his back on the ground. I'm going to defend. He's going to keep fighting here. At a certain point, depending on how this struggle goes, if he starts to extend, the pressure starts coming onto my knee here. Look, see, and then if I try to plant my foot, my knee pops. So what I like to do is, the guy locks me here, on my calf. I kick back, see, and here. Yes, I go here. I go there, wherever. Look, I put him on his back on the ground. Here, it's all good. My elbow. I mark his knee, so he can't break it over there anymore. See, try to break it over there. Man, it doesn't break anymore. If I stay here, he throws it again, and then we can get into that situation where he starts putting on the pressure. The first time I tore my cruciate ligament, so I needed surgery. It happened exactly like this. I got caught in a foot lock by the clown kid with his eyebrows done. I didn't take him seriously. It was the 12th roll at a seminar over in Germany. The guy locked it in, and I thought, he's not going to get it. He's not going to get it. Then it popped. The first thing is this here. Look. It could be this one. It could be that one. I have to create some distance and turn my foot. I turn my foot. Once I turn my foot, I pull him in. And then the elbow. I set my knee there. The first thing is to keep him from turning. Now I'm going to do this. Once he's there, the other hand. Here I'm fine, because he tried to turn to one side and then the other. Let go. It gets hard. My elbow blocks there, so it's hard for him to turn. With my hand, I'll start fighting for his grip here. It can be with one hand or both, because once I go for his grip, he can't turn anymore. So I block with my knee, get the grip, and now I'm going to stomp inside, putting on the boot, like people call it. Okay? Luck. All right? In this case, in this situation, for me to get out, I'd have to turn toward the foot. Can I turn? No. His foot is here, so what am I going to do? I'm going to sink my foot all the way in there. Look, I pushed my foot all the way in. I'm going to throw my heel over his forearm. So now, even if he tries to grip, he can't pull it toward his face. And here I'm going to dive for his heel, see? Okay? So if the foot slips here during foot fencing, I make sure to brace the elbow firmly. There's simply no possible way to turn at all. See? There's no more turning. Grip, foot stomp inside. Look, do an extension. Keep it tight here. And now I'm going to replace my hand with my heel here, see, like this. So he can't pull it up anymore. I'm going to dive in, looking at his heel, and come in with my own heel, like this. All right, let's try this one. It's not exactly an escape. It's a counterattack that works for getting yourself out. Another one. It's very similar. It's just in case you can't pummel both feet. Grab here, Japa, please. Go ahead. He hooked from the inside, nice. Sometimes it happens that you can't pummel both. Sometimes you'll only be able to pummel one. Yeah, the other one will stay. Sometimes this one might stay or that one. Whatever, it's going to vary. I go here and he throws this one in. That's it. And then I'm going to pull here. I can't attack this foot. He's hiding it here. The dynamic is always the same, okay. So he might. I might be able to pummel both arms, or just one. When it comes to counterattacks, only the ending changes. Everything else is the same. First, I have to stop him from turning inward, okay? Because if he turns outward, turn outward there, Japa. Here, I can easily kill his arm. If he turns inward, it creates distance. I can't kill his arm, and it puts pressure on my knee, which is exactly what I don't want. So in the case, when I did it with Leko, I pummeled both legs, both feet, right? I did this here, look, see? Right. If I only pummel this one here, okay? That'll happen. Japa goes underneath here again. This one. Leave it underneath. Yeah, look. That can happen. I don't have the heel hook attack here anymore, but that's okay. It's the same. I'm going to hook. I'm going to control the knee. Okay, so he can't turn inward. I'm going to get my grip. Hold tight. I'm going to get my grip on his hand. Both hands on the same forearm, using my weight. See? Leaning my weight back. Look. And then I'm going to lock in the boot. I'm going to stomp inside. See? You do it all at once because what I'm trying to do here is to get his forearm off my Achilles tendon and bring it to my calf, which makes it easier for me to resist. See? I might have to lock in the boot twice. And once I extend my leg here, it gets much harder for him to bend it again, okay? Once I've done that, I'm going to throw my heel over the top to make it harder for him. If I can't get this heel here anymore to attack, no problem. I'll go for the other one. I switch it over here and go for the inverted one, okay? You can even catch it earlier. So basically, what you need for this counterattack. And right now we're doing the counterattack on the spot. We're working on defense. Because a lot of times, as soon as you start to lock it in here, the guy gives up. I got a cramp. It's getting tight. Better eat some bananas. Often, when you defend here, you already start to hook it in, and the guy just gives up and doesn't care. You don't even need to wear yourself out trying to get out, okay? Most times, that's what happens. As soon as he sees you're going for the heel, he'll just give up and he comes over here, right? Our guy here, he's low on bananas. Eat some bananas, Japa. So here, look, in this case, I framed and ended up here, okay? Leko is here. He shut down my heel hook attack, so I'll go for the cross heel hook. It's all the same. Look, I'll be fighting with the guy here. Look, he'll be fighting. Try to fight there, Leko. See, it's already harder for him to get it. I kept my leg straight there, brought it over here, and now I'm going for the inverted one here, see? Okay? Little roll, and that's it here. So basically, use whatever grip you can. Put him on his back on the ground, without moving your hips so you don't hurt your knee. Both hands on one hand, lock in the boot. I locked in the boot. See which heel is left. Sometimes both will be available. You can choose. Check which heel is left. See which is easier for you to grab. This heel of mine that I throw over the top, it's not going to stop anything, okay? It's just going to get in the way. What I want to do with this heel here, the one I throw here, is to buy myself some time. Once it's locked in there, I keep it tight. Want to buy myself some time here, see? Because this is going to force Leko to have to pummel with one hand. He'll have to let go. He'll have to throw it out. While he's doing that, I'm right here. That's it. It's over, okay? So basically the dynamics are the same. After defending, lock in the boot and see what's left. See which heel is exposed and go for it. Okay, let's go. Go ahead, Botinha.